The last day of the year began with an unexpected calm. The verdant expanse stretched out before us, bathed in the soft glow of ether streams weaving through the rolling hills. The air felt lighter here, as though the land itself was beginning to heal after yesterday's battle. Lysara stood at the edge of our camp, her silver hair catching the early morning light. I joined her, the shard pulsing faintly against my chest. Its steady rhythm matched my heartbeat, a reminder of the power and responsibility I carried. "Do you feel it?" she asked, her voice quiet. I nodded. "The light feels stronger here, like it's starting to push back against the shadow." "It is," she said. "But the shadow is not idle. It will adapt to this loss, and when it returns, it will strike harder." Her words were sobering, but they didn't dampen the small flicker of hope I felt. As we broke camp and continued our journey, the ether's presence grew more vibrant. Streams of light flowed like rivers through the land, their glow illuminating patches of wildflowers that shimmered in every color imaginable. It was beautiful, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching us. The shard pulsed faintly, its light flickering as though sensing the same unease. "The shadow lingers here," Lysara said, her hand resting on the hilt of her blade. "It is waiting for an opportunity to strike. Do you think it'll come soon?" I asked, scanning the horizon. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stopped, her gaze fixed on a distant cluster of ruins nestled among the hills. "There," she said, pointing. "The light in this region converges at those ruins. If the shadow is to make a stand, it will be there." The ruins were unlike anything I'd seen before. Ancient stone structures jutted out from the ground, their surfaces etched with glowing runes that pulsed faintly with etheric energy. The air here was thick, humming with a tension that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. "This place was once a sanctuary," Lysara said, her voice reverent. "A place where the ether flowed freely, untainted by shadow. But now—" She trailed off as a low rumble echoed through the ruins. The shard's light flared briefly, reacting to the sudden shift in the air. "They know we're here," she said, drawing her blade. The attack came swiftly. Shadowed creatures emerged from the cracks in the stones, their forms flickering and shifting as they moved. These were different from the ones we'd faced before, larger, faster, and infused with a malevolent energy that made them harder to strike. I raised the shard, its light flaring as I summoned a barrier to block the first wave. Lysara moved with precision, her blade slicing through the creatures in arcs of shimmering light. "Their strength comes from the ruins," she shouted, cutting down another attacker. "We must sever the connection." I focused on the shard, its energy flowing through me as I scanned the ruins for the source of the corruption. My gaze landed on a large stone obelisk at the center of the site, its surface covered in pulsating red veins. "There!" I called out. "The obelisk? It's like the one in the crags?" Lysara nodded, her movements never faltering. "Go, I'll hold them off." I sprinted toward the obelisk, dodging tendrils of shadow that lashed out from its base. The shard's light burned brighter as I approached, its warmth pushing back against the oppressive energy surrounding the structure. As I reached the obelisk, the whispers surged, louder and more insistent. "You cannot destroy us," they hissed. "This place belongs to the shadow. Your light is nothing but a fleeting spark." I ignored them, gripping the shard tightly as I channeled its energy into the obelisk. The light struck its surface, cracking the stone and sending waves of energy rippling through the ruins. The shadow responded immediately. Tendrils of darkness erupted from the ground, wrapping around me and pulling me away from the obelisk. I struggled against their grip, the shard's light dimming as the tendrils tightened. "Nico!" Lysara's voice cut through the chaos as she fought her way toward me. With a surge of effort, I focused on the shard, drawing on every ounce of its energy. The light flared brighter than ever, shattering the tendrils and sending a wave of etheric energy through the ruins. The obelisk cracked further, its surface splintering as the shadow's grip weakened. Lysara reached me just in time, her blade striking the base of the obelisk and severing the last of the tendrils. The obelisk shattered, its fragments dissolving into mist. The ruins fell silent, the oppressive energy lifting as the light of the ether surged through the site. As the dust settled, I sank to the ground, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The shard's light pulsed steadily, its warmth a reassuring presence after the chaos of the battle. Lysara knelt beside me, her expression a mix of relief and exhaustion. "You did well," she said. "The shadow's presence here has been broken. The light will begin to heal this place." That night, as we made camp near the ruins, the sky above us was clear, the stars shining brightly against the darkness. The shard's pulse was steady, its light casting a soft glow over the campsite. It was the last night of the year, and though the journey ahead was uncertain, I allowed myself a moment of hope. The shadow was far from defeated, but the light was still with us, and as long as it burned we had a chance. Tomorrow, a new year would begin, and with it the next chapter of this fight. But for now I rested, the shard's warmth a quiet promise that the light would not fade.